Okay, so this was the GOC's CDC Series 45 contest, and these are held generally every week, more or less, during the times of this preparation for internships and placements during this June, July time, so that people get practice in IIT Kharagpur as well as outside also. It's open to everyone so that people can enjoy these contests. And these are questions that are inspired or often directly picked from last year's OA. So they kind of signify how the questions actually come in these companies. These were questions from companies like UiPath. There are companies like APT Portfolios. There are certain companies that were selected for this particular contest, right? And this particular set also had a lot of good ideas. Okay, before moving into this, I feel like the team asked me, Vivek, can you give us some idea around like how can we ace the internships and placements? So we'll talk about that. How many like of you have an idea how is the job market going right now? सबको पता है थोड़ा बैड ऐसा कुछ तो sentiment is going on in Kharagpur also in almost all colleges, right? Really bad, yeah. The reason for that is like a lot of big companies are like not hiring interns or in SD ones. One of the sad things I recently heard was that Rubrik closed its SD1 hiring altogether, which is quote unquote known to be one of the topmost targets. Okay, okay, yeah. So I'll also show the HackerRank page. This was the was it Yeah, so there are these HackerRank tests that happens on Codeforces. I think uh, I'll share the links. Share the links, guys. Whatever you'd want people to know. Sir, CV review kar lo. At the end, if the time permits, we'll do it at the end. Okay. First, we'll go through the contest. So the market is hard, but again, if you are preparing from like this session, I'll take from a perspective that you are probably sitting for IIT KGP or some IIT's CDC internship placement. I think there are still companies that are coming. It's like there is not you cannot say that there is not ample opportunity. Off campus, things are very hard. So I would absolutely encourage you guys to get a on campus internships or placements as soon as possible because off campus things are very, very hard unless you know a senior who is working in a startup, or if you know a certain person who can get you the interview in a company. It's very, very hard to get a off campus thing. And if you are not a circuital student, if you are like from other departments, then it's even harder because off campus the people filter by department itself, right? CGPA and department a lot. So please focus on the on campus thing itself, and that's going to be the best way possible. These contest series are very good way to practice. There are more tests. I think some of the previous tests you can also find on mang.in, the Algorithms platform also. You can give these mock tests, which are company simulated tests if you want to practice. Right now, we'll be discussing a little bit around the DSA part, like how to kind of do very well in OA and on interviews. And then I'll be directly moving towards questions because I'll just spend quick 10 to 15 minutes on discussing about these two stuff in accords to me what works in these two things. And then I'll just straight away move to discussing this. Do non-circuitals branch students from IIT KGP get software placements? Placements, yes. Internships are a little harder. My understanding is that if you go and talk to your seniors, first advice, number one advice that I'll say, talk to best or top best seniors of your own department. Reason being, they will be able to give you clear picture of which companies open for you, which companies are the realistic chance has the realistic chances for your department, what kind of CGP criteria they are looking for, and recent year trends they'll be able to tell you much better. So please connect with some people who have done really well in the last season of internships and placement in your campus. Most of these seniors would be very, very helpful. I think people who do good are also super helpful in nature, and if you reach out to them, they will be definitely giving you good advices. At least you will get some good perspective. Okay, my understanding is in OAs you will be getting 3 to 5, somewhere in this range number of problems. I like on an average, I can say 4 or 3, mostly 5 is like on the upper end. Okay. So 3 to 5 problems. My understanding is there are three things that matter. Okay. Number one is score, of course, like how many test cases and how many questions were you able to solve. So from this, you can understand that, okay, I'll move this one here a little bit to the right. The first thing that you can understand is partial points matter. Okay. Even though while practice, partial points don't matter. First advice to you all would be, if you are giving an OA, if you cannot solve a problem, please get its partial test cases passed. I have seen people getting shortlisted because they have solved partial test cases and someone who has not. Okay. Number two, in the score, the time also matters. I would say a very ideal time to complete the test is in 70% of the time given, 60 to 70% of the time given. Please do not, like, I have seen sometimes people not getting shortlisted just because they have solved it too fast or too slow. Like, sending at the end doesn't help. And if you are like, maybe it can be a case that you are exceptionally good, but still I have seen people getting flagged as cheating if they are able to solve a problem which on an average requires 3 minutes and you are able to solve it in 1 minute. So if on a problem, if from the mean you are taking, like, HackerRank has a lot of data set, right? If you are less than 2 sigma from the mean, there is a very good probability that you are probably cheating. This is how sometimes they flag. Okay. It is not really a score deduction, but it is just a flag for the HR that gets raised on their internal platform. So what happens is you might possibly get like a penalty if the HR is a little lazy and they just say, okay, ban, like just reject all everyone who is getting flagged, right? If the HR is not really looking into individual cases and they just click on the button that reject everybody who is flagged, then you might get rejected. This is one thing that matters. Okay. So score definitely matters. The second is like in OS, I feel this is going to be somewhat for people who have a lot of options, but optimize the time. I mean, I would say that when optimize which companies you are giving sitting for. I think as the placements, internships and placement season starts in IIT, like you'll have like during the end days 4 to 5 tests every day. And I think the strain is real in the sense that if you're giving 5 tests every day, you will be like drained completely. So do not sit for every company or every test that you think is not even realistic for you. Okay. And it can be in both the direction. If you are from, let's say, CS or East, like you understand your own reality, right? Ki Vivek, mere se to itna hi hona hai. I'll be able to solve this much only. Or this is a realistic company for me. I cannot maybe, you should sit for all companies that are that are possible. But then sometimes we have seen that some companies do not even give chances to someone who is in non-circuital, or some companies are like not interested in certain group. So do not waste too much time if you are feeling too drained out. Okay. I have seen people performing not so good if they are drained completely. And the third thing that I'll advise is like there are certain, like in the first few days, this is a very controversial advice in my opinion, but in first few days things are very like this the invigilation is good, or integrity of the test is good. But if you think that there is a test which is compromised in the sense that everybody is cheating with AIs and all, right? Then sometimes it's wise to not uh, be in the group that you are abstaining from absolutely not using any practices which can get you the shortlist. eh? Because it can hurt your real chances. Okay. In the initial few days, I don't think cheating with AI absolutely matters. People who would be um, who will be getting, who are good, they will get shortlisted in the top companies and all, and those things will happen. But after that, I've seen in after day 4, day 3, what happens is a lot of companies be like, test ghar se, room se de do, and then there's like a lot of cheating here and there. So if you feel like you need a help, take it. Okay. Bluntly, in this market, getting a job internship is more important than being 100% integrity where the market is not. Okay. Next is in interview, I feel not just for interview, even for OAs of a lot of good companies, people ask me, Vivek, what is the advices? I think there is no advice. Like if you go to an interview, you start with an introduction. If you can crack the questions, you are good to go. If you cannot, you are not selected. That's it. Okay. But I think still people miss on 5, 6 topics that are very, very important. I'll just write 6 topics in my opinion, which are most important. Even in OAs also, if you are short on time, and Vivek, give me 5, 6 topics that I should prepare. Very simply, I'll say STL. STL is a topic which has a lot of good ideas, right? Which means not just knowing the syntax, but also how to use stack, how to use queue, what is monotonic stack, what is these kind of ideas, next greater, previous greater, like all the data structures and common use cases of those data structures. Okay. Next would be DP and then obviously graph. These are two very, very important topics. A lot of companies are going to ask you questions on these. Must complete, obviously. Okay. Next two things would be binary search and two pointers. A lot of companies ask questions on these two topics. And the last topic will be linked list plus binary tree. Like this is something that you prepare specifically for interviews. I do not think companies give these in OAs because you can actually clone the linked list and make a vector and then return a linked list if you really want. I don't think people go to like anybody goes through the actual code. So linked list and binary tree, but still these are asked in interviews. So if I am short on time, and if I had to prepare for DSA at this point in time, I would just focus on these 6 topics. That's it. This is the 20, like, this is just like if I list down all the topics, there would be 20, 30 topics. This is like the 6 or some 20% that will give you the 80% result. Okay. This is the 20% that will give you 80% result. There is no point in hurting your chances. You would practice the topics that is going to give you the most leverage. And we can go into deep dive of these if we ever get the time at the end of this. Okay. I would love to take questions and discuss about this. Okay, chalo. I just don't want to be this session to be completely gyan and all. Yeah, I keep doing this on my YouTube live streams once in a while. So if you are interested, feel free to join in on YouTube on live streams and I'll be happy to take questions. For today, the agenda is to look at the contest, right? Okay. So there were 5 questions. I happen to have seen the first and second question, and I looked at the last question. I have not seen the third and fourth problem because of in the interest of time. The first and second question I had a look at, and third and fourth I have not. Fifth I had a look at quickly. So when you are starting an OA, right, this kind of test, my advice would be to always go through a lot of questions until you are sure that you can solve this question. For example, if I start this contest, as soon as I read the first problem, it kind of talks about intervals and finding the interval where everybody is free for at least k minutes, right? This is the question that this is asking. Basically, there are bunch of blocking times given for everyone, like when is this person blocked from what hour to what hour, right? And you have to find the first blocking time, first time k minutes where things are free. There is a block here, somebody's blocked here. So somebody's blocked here. So first k minutes where nobody is blocked is what you would want to find. Okay. So these kind of questions is what you practice in interval related problems. How many of you have heard about this technique called sweep line? Okay. Even though you can do it with normal STL also, there are two ideas. One is sweep line, one is STL. You can just directly do this with STL also. That you can maintain a set which contains the intervals like 1 to 5, then 6 to 7, something like this. And you can make the interval union wala problem. There is this famous lead code problem where you unite the intervals and all, so that you just have gaps in between the intervals that are there, that are blocked. So you maintain the blocked intervals, and between the intervals and at the start and at the end, you can find the gaps between the blocked intervals. Okay. Another thing is sweep line. This sweep line idea can be implemented in two ways. One, using events if the values are up to 10 to the power 9, or it can be done using prefix and partial sums. Yes. If it is up to 10 to the power 6. Okay. Sweep line is a concept which allows you to find what is blocked and by how many people, how many intervals, and so on. Okay. So in that, if you have events If you have values up to 10 to the power 9, you can use an implementation strategy of events, that you maintain a vector of events and you find the interesting points, and you only solve in the like what happens from this interesting point to next interesting point, this interesting points to next interesting point. So you break it down into chunks basically, and for each chunk of the interval you save something. This is events based implementation. Or if in this problem, as you can see, it is given in hours and minute problem, so you will have some 20 to 30 minutes, right? We can convert it into absolute minutes, right? That this will be 22 into 60 plus 30, whatever this comes out, this will be your minute from the day of the start. Okay, so you can convert these and you can see that these values would not be very big. These would not be very big. So we will be able to do it with the partial sum technique. How many of you have an idea of prefix sum, partial sums, difference? Some people call partial sums as difference array also. Pardon my handwriting, but I hope difference array. Okay, if you do not have an idea, I'll just quickly share the URL for you to study this. Like if you do not know this, I'll just share the URL with you. This contains some really good ideas that you can cover. Okay, so just learn about prefix and partial sums. That's all. Like if you know this idea, you will be able to solve this problem. If you do not know this, then you cannot solve that problem, in my opinion. Okay, cool. So there is this material which is available freely. You guys can just go through this. And for people who are higher rated also, there are like some good ideas. These ideas I don't think are available outside. Like nobody, I don't think people have taught these ideas before. Where is this? Okay, acha, haan. These APGP variations and stuff. So if you are interested, you guys can have a look at them. Okay. Okay. So whom should I be focusing on design? When should I start? Right now? Yeah. There's like no better date than today, I feel. Yeah, if you're starting out, then this contest was very hard for you. I do not think that neither the 1, 2, 5 was easy. I do not know about third and fourth, but I don't think 1, 2, or 5 was easy. 1 was probably medium level problem. 2 was hard, like medium to hard only. Fifth was also medium to hard. 1 was the only medium, like lead code medium, I would say. Matlab, easy for someone who has done a lot of CP. Okay, so this is the problem. This is the idea. If you do not know prefix and partial sums, read about it. This problem is a direct application that, okay, you have an array. There are bunch of updates which says these positions are blocked. These positions are blocked. Once you do this processing, you have to find the continuous chunk of k blocks that are free. Continuous chunk of k blocks that are free. So you can just, to update a range that these are blocked, 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 blocked. To do this, you can use prefix partial sums essentially, and then build the blocked array and then find continuous chunk of k blocks which are free. So prefix sums and partial sums is probably the idea that you use for this. Okay. Here, everyone, I'll not be coding these solutions. I do not want to spend time on implementation. I think the hints and solution ideas are available here. Okay. Yeah, so this is basically at the starting, you add something, and at the end, you can add something. Yeah, this is basically the idea. You can have a look at this implementation. These are very clean code. Nice editorial, guys. Fourth is direct editorial question. Is it so? Oh, very interesting. Okay, maybe we'll look at it. We'll look at it. I don't know. Okay. Can you use sliding window on the sorted array? You can, but you basically need to find the gap. It will be a little hard only to implement that. Okay. So that was the first problem, probably the easiest. Yeah, we can do sliding window also from, because the length is small, right? The length is small. The thing that you realize here is that the length would be small in which the durations where things are fixed, right? So in that you can do. The total hours in the day is less. Okay. Fourth one was repeat. Oh, okay. Maybe. I don't know. We'll look at it. Seems like some good problem. I don't know. I have not seen the problem yet. Okay. Is it the same problem? Kya from CF? Okay. So it was a D-Shaw question you were saying. Okay, we'll look at it maybe. I don't know what is the idea. The 2300. Oh, acha, I have hidden the ratings and stuff. Interesting. We'll look at it. Okay. First problem, topic clear to everyone. What was the concept to be used? Quick +1 in the chat. CG high चाहिए. Yes, CG help करता है. Yes, definitely. Okay. Next problem. We basically are going to go to the second problem. This is a very, very good problem in the sense that this tests if you have good clarity on DP or not, right? This basically says that for every frame, you have to choose out of 4 operations that you can possibly do. And at the end, the target resolution needs to be met. Okay. So there are like bunch of resolutions and then there are target uh, resolutions. How do you do it? So a very, very direct idea, like when you think about these problems, right? The first step that I always do is I visualize. For example, this was a visualization of what was happening. The first step, whenever you are solving a problem, please visualize clearly, because then you can, or else you cannot solve. So suppose you are given some 2, 2, 3, 3, right? So basically, it is like building a subset. You are choosing a subset, like you will choose this. And for them, for each of them, you have bunch of options. Ki bhai, this wala frame, I will use no use. For this, I will use it to multiply. For it, I will use to divide. For it to, I will just use, this is also almost no use only. This is also no use, but it is different from this. So you have to count this twice. That's the idea. This transition, I mean, this is also like no use only, but it's like two transitions. There are two different, these are counted at two different ways. Okay. So now at the end, whatever you choose and whatever multiply divide you do, the answer should be equal to X. Okay. There are two important things that you observe. N is up to 19 and power is up to 6. These are the two small constraints. So small constraints are the things that can give you insights into what can possibly be used. N is up to 19, which means this set has 19 elements, and the values are up to 6. How do you use these constraints well? Let's break it down. 19 means possible brute force, possible, right? Brute force. Okay. Can we do brute force in this problem? There are 19 options only, but each option has 4 options. So there is 4, or even if you combine these two, you have 3. So 3 to the power 19. What will be this value? What is 3 to the power 19? We can simply like calculate it out. Some big value, right? It's, I think, some 10 to the power 19. Will this pass ever? Will this ever pass? No, for sure no, right? The second idea that could have been used is, if it is not passing, can we squeeze a little bit of this to solve with meet in the middle? Okay. Meet in the middle is another idea that you might or might not have studied. But sometimes when you are on the boundary, meet in the middle can come and rescue us. And actually, this could have been solved with meet in the middle, in the sense that out of these 20 elements, you divide it into 10 options and 10 options, 10 elements and 10 elements. Here you generate all 4 to the power 20 options. Here you generate all 4 to the power 20 options, which is 2 to the power 20, 2 to the power 20. And then if there was only one query, suppose you had to check for X resolution. If you know out of this 2 to the power 20, it is going to, from 1, if you apply whatever you have done in these 10 items, it will make it some Z, and at the end it has to be X, which means you have to just search how many of the different choices here is gonna generate X by Y as a multiplier, right? X by Z as a multiplier. So you can build a map of all possible resultant multiplying factor and you know the result. So from here to here in a map, you can check how many of them are building this. Does this idea make sense to everyone? I mean, I don't know if you guys have studied meet in the middle, but possibly this is a good idea that if you have not studied meet in the middle, this will not make sense. So study meet in the middle. It can help in certain problems. For example, you could have just broken down into 2020. So there are 20 items. If you break it down into 10 items and 10 items, and for these 10 items, you have 4 choices per item. So total choices is 4 to the power 10. For these 10 items also, per item, you can do 4 to the power 10 possibilities. This is roughly 10 to the power 6. This is roughly 10 to the power 6. Okay. Now, if suppose you want X resolution from 1. Yes, correct. In this question, it will not pass, but it might in some future case. Okay. What is this? Yeah, meet in the middle. If you have not studied meet in the middle before, this is a very, very old lecture that I had taken. But these are like good problems that you can learn in meet in the middle. Perfect. Thanks. Thanks, Devendra. Okay. So if you have not studied, this is something that you can go through. So with 1, for these 10 items, whatever you decide, you will go into some Z resolution. Now you have to choose only those elements such that after that transform, it becomes X. So that multiplier has to be X by Z. If you generate all these 10 to the power 6 possibilities and maintain a map कि वो क्या multiplier देता है, what multiplier does that give? So you iterate on this and search in the map. If you iterate on this, you will know the Z, you know the target, so you can search for this multiplier in the other map. This could have solved the problem in order 10 to the power 6 log 10 to the power 6, but this is only for one query. In the question, there are given Q queries, so we cannot solve it even with meet in the middle. But this is nevertheless a good idea to explore. If you do not know meet in the middle, the link that was shared, please read about it. It's a very good problem. Yes, correct. Clear, everyone? Does this make sense to all till now? कि दो topic है, both of them could not solve it, but then it is a possibility. Next is, if you cannot make it solve with just this one constraint, of course somebody added this, which means it's going to help us solve the problem. And since we are multiplying and dividing, you can understand that numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 have only certain factors. 1, 2, 3, 2 square, 5, 2 into 3. So the prime numbers that you are multiplying or dividing by is only 2, 3, 5. Can I say this is true? Yes or no? Okay. So then you can try to think about, okay, we will try to do these 4 transitions, but the state would not maintain how much we have multiplied or where we have reached. We will just multiply what power of 2, 3, 5 we have seen. And we can do something like this. If you have not done DP workshop, it is there on YouTube, but you can write it in DP form 1 that, okay, maybe I have decided there are n items, right? I have decided that this I will multiply, this I will not take, this I will multiply. So at this point in time, I am deciding I, and till now, whatever choices I have taken, I will be getting X, Y, Z, that if 1 is put in here, currently my multiplier is 2 to the power X, 3 to the power Y, 5 to the power Z. If 1 goes through these multipliers, the current state that I am on when I'm deciding I is that we have 2 to the power X, 3 to the power Y, 5 to the power Z. And note that it can possibly be negative also. Like for example, if you have 5 here and you decide to divide, then you might get 5 to the power minus 1 also. Correct? Does this make sense to everyone? So the transition should look something like this. For example, let's say you are right now having dp of I to 0, 0, 0. Okay, you are here and you have not taken any element. Suppose this is a 5. If you don't take it, then you will go to dp of I plus 1, 0, 0, 0. If you multiply, then you will go to dp of I plus 1, 0, 0, 1, because 5's power increased by 1. If you divide, then you will go to dp of I plus 1, 0, 0, minus 1, right? And if you again do not like multiply, divide both, then you will go to dp of I plus 1, 0, 0, 0. I mean, same as this, but we can add it as a loop. It doesn't cost us much. Okay. So these are the 4 transitions that you will see. Suppose if this number was 6, right? And you were at dp of I plus 1 x, y, z. Suppose you decide to multiply. Can somebody tell me in the chat what state will you go in? You are at I only. dp of I x comma y comma z. And there is a 6. You decide to multiply. What state will you go into? Give me the 4 parameters in the chat. I plus 1. We have x, y, z right now. So not 1, 1, 0. Perfect. Very nice. Very nice. The power of 2, if you multiply, the power of 2 will increase by 1. The power of 3 will increase by 1. The power of 5 will remain the same. Right? Very similarly, if you divide, then they will decrease. Like this will be x minus 1, y minus 1. Right? Good. So this is what this question was asking you. Like if you could think about this state that, oh, there are only 3 primes. So maybe 3 primes, we can throw it in the state. And then this problem becomes a direct form 1 problem. Okay. There is still one more caveat that since there are 19 element, you can at the end reach 2 to the power minus 19. So you will reach things like dp n 19 minus 19. And it's possible. Yeah. Like 19, sorry, minus 38 for 2, because if you get a lot of 4s and if you decide to divide all of them, so then you can reach minus 38 also. Minus 19, minus 19. These are all possible states, right? So 2 to the power minus 38. If you divide 4, there are 19 4s, 4, 4, 4, and you choose all of them to divide, then you will get this. Similarly, for 3, you can get minus 19. 2, 3 to the power plus 19. For 5, you can get minus 19 to plus 19. Right? All of these are possible. So to handle these negative values, there is a very standard trick in DP that when you are like in the recursion, you can keep them negative. Okay. In the recursion, you can keep them negative. But when you are saving it in the array, you add an offset. So suppose you are trying to keep DP of, like suppose you are doing some recurrence, right? You are using the recursive DP to calculate DP of I comma x comma y comma z. Okay. So you will calculate it here, but you will save DP of I comma, like you will calculate the answer here by using the maths logic, like these transition logics. And since all of these are possible, we need to find the number of ways, right? In this question, we have to find the number of ways. Let's check once. Yeah, number of ways 10 to the power 9 plus 7. So you have to add. So you can add and find the answer, but you will save it at x plus 38, y plus 19, z plus 19. So that even if it is minus 38, it will go to 0. Plus 38 will go to 70, 76. Similarly, minus 19 will go to 0 and so on. So you just save it at a different place, because at the end, DP is all about saving what you have seen before. So with the same parameters, if you want to save the values, you will be saving them at a particular place. How will you store 1 by 6 in map? I mean, you can store it in the powers of 2, 3, 5 only, right? Like possibly. It's possible to store it. Matlab, Map can be of three values also, right? Like it's possible. It's not impossible, but yeah, of course, it's not a very optimal way, but it's possible, what I mean to say. Okay, great. How to get to idea of, guys, felt too hard for me now to improve. How to get to the idea of prime? Uh, I mean, like you must have seen, of course, something similar, but the idea is that you have to see which constraints are small and why did the question change it the way it is. Okay. Why did the question make it small? Because they wanted to give us less primes. Okay. So this is a DP state idea. This is good practice problem for DP states if you have not practiced much. Okay. So this was the idea for this problem. If you write this DP transition that I just showed, I think the editorial also would do something similar. I do not have an idea. Okay, so they have written an like iterative code. Also, since the code will become large, what they have done is like only the last layer. We can store fraction as pair of number. Yes, yes, we can do GCD. Yeah, we can save it as fraction also possible. But it might become too big of numbers as well, like because the numbers will multiply quite quickly. So might be more than long. So yeah. 6 to the power 19 is fairly big in my opinion. So not sure if we can store. I don't know if 6 to the power 19 fits in long, then we can store map of fractions also. Reduced fractions. What is the English meaning? Any recursion call? Can you do TL check? Okay, so if you have, so here, if you write the TL check, the number of states would be equal to, what is the time complexity of this DP? You have n into 38, sorry, 70, sorry, 38, no, 38 and 38 both sides. So it's 76 multiplied by 38 multiplied by 38. This is the number of states and number of transitions will be equal to 4. You can actually reduce this transition by just making 2 into this. So number of transitions technically 3. Right. So it will be order n into 76 into 38 into 38 only in most cases. And n is only 19, so it will pass. Okay. What will be the base case for it? So as you proceed. Okay. Let's understand. Let's go back. So yeah, basically, as you are getting a 5, if you're multiplying 5, you're increasing by this and all. At the end, if you hit the target, that you are supposed to get in the query, then you are getting a 1 or you're getting a 0. How many of you have seen my DP workshop by any chance? Quick, +1 or -1? Well, DP you have studied from me. If you're not, -1, please. Okay, great. So if you have not studied from me, I'll suggest to do so, like because of one reason. Like these questions that you're asking, right? That Vivek, how would you then model this for queries? How do you change this for queries? These are standard techniques, very standard techniques. I'll just show you. I'll show you. These are all like people feel कि विवेक ये कैसे सोचेंगे है ना? How will I think about these on my own? Most people can't. You just need to know this idea exists. And if you know that, you can, just like this offset idea, if you know this idea, you can solve this problem. If you have never seen that offset idea before, I mean, in my opinion, it's very, very hard to suddenly come up with कि अरे इसमें offset लगा देंगे इसमें ये करने. It's very hard, right? So there is this on my channel there is this DP workshop. Like you do not need to go through all. Like I had taken this like some 3 years ago, but I think there's like some lot of good सजेशंस है इस पे, प्लेलिस्ट कहाँ है? राइट, ओके, सो yeah, DP caching across queries. How do you do this? Hi and welcome to the sec. Okay, that how do you convert that how much you have taken? If you convert this taken such query, so you how do you handle same question for 10 to the power 4 queries in DP? Basically, how much have you taken? You convert it to how much is left to be taken. Instead of making this XYZ as how many powers of XYZ have we taken, if you model this DP as I am at the ith index and I have to X take 2 to the power X, I have to still multiply 2 to the power X, 3 to the power Y, 5 to the power Z. How many ways are there to at the end ensure that these much powers are multiplied? If you formulate it this way, so multiply will become negative and divide will become positive. So you given any query, for example, 10 to the, suppose you are given 100. So you write it as 2 to the power 2, 5 to the power 2, and then you call DP of 0, 2, 2, sorry, 2, 0, 2. Whatever this is, so initially you are at the 0th index and you need to ensure that by the end you have 2 and 2 covered. How many ways are there? If you formulate it this way, that how much is left, you can always answer queries in any DP problem. Okay, instead of how much you have taken, if you model it as how much is left, you can always handle queries in such a DP form and problems. This is explained here. Yes, so once you compute the DP for every query, you do not need to do the query DP calculation again. It is saved because the array is not changing. So I would highly encourage, like if you feel कि विवेक DP मेरा उतना strong नहीं है, right? Please watch this series. I mean, I know all of you would have done DP from some sheets, some places. तुमने कर लिया होगा. But the moment you watch this particular series, you will understand कि how can you possibly solve more harder problems and how can you model new problems as well. Okay? That will help you to solve good questions eventually. मतलब ये सब चीजें नहीं पता है तो it's like these questions are not easy. The question that we are discussing right now, it's not an easy question, right? अब ये easy question नहीं है तो solve करने के लिए you will need to know good techniques. You cannot come up with these ideas in a contest. ठीक है? That's the general observation in my terms, in my idea. Okay. So this is how you solve this particular problem. Okay. Third, fourth. Let's look at the third problem as well. For strictly increasing array A, do they ask combinatorics in OA? Yes. Combinatorics, direct combinatorics, no, but you generally use it with DP and all only. Like generally they ask DP problems where you need to use some combinatorics. Okay. In the question, doesn't division produce floor values that we won't be able to cancel degrees with numerator and denominator? No, in this question, we do not floor, right? It's going to be actually, it's not floor, it's just fractional stuff only. And at the end, it should become an integer. So the powers need to get cancelled. DP काफी hard लगता है. I mean, DP definitely, like until you solve good 100 problems, in my opinion, it's not easy. I do not believe DP is easy, but I think if you understand the framework, that how to handle queries in DP, how to handle certain ideas in DP, how to handle triangulation in DP, all these stuff, if you know this idea, it will be very easy. Most people think that I can come up with solutions on my own, whereas in my opinion, when I give a contest, 80% of idea I have seen before, 20% only I come up on the spot. Okay. For all good people, they would all agree probably to what I'm saying, but more than 80% of things that they solve in contest, they already have seen similar ideas before, and only 20% they come up on originally on their own in the contest, even less than that in most cases. Okay. So you have to know a lot of good ideas. Great. So this was the second problem's idea. Third, essentially you have I, j, k, and you have to strictly increasing array of n elements is said to be good if I plus j is equal to k. You are given an integer m. There are exactly m good triplets. Okay. And can the array have negative numbers as well? I think no, because they have asked to generate lexicographically minimum. But it does not mentions the array elements cannot be negative, because if negatives and zeros are possible, I can generate a lot of possibilities. Is it mentioned that array cannot be negative? Okay. From the solution, I can predict that they must have mentioned AI should be greater than equal to 1, but it is not mentioned. Okay. Okay. Great. So we need to be able to generate as many pairs like this. And we need to generate lexicographically minimum. Okay, good that we have n up to 1000. So we have to only generate up till 1000 length, right? So 1000 length, what does that mean? Can we do some DP? I think since we are strictly increasing slowly, this can be either a DP problem or a greedy problem. I don't think there can be any other idea, because lexicographically smallest solution, this is not possible in generally any other technique. This is of course not brute force. So either some greedy strategy or some DP strategy, right? There's no other possible topics in this particular problem. Because lexicographical smallest you can generate in only these two. Because in DP, if you make the transitions go in lexicographical smallest order, then you can generate the lexicographical smallest solution. And in greedy, though, of course, I think this might be a greedy problem, because okay, let's try to understand what we can possibly do. So suppose a of I plus a of j has to be equal to k, and this k number is going to be, is it one indexed or zero indexed? It's one indexed. So k is between like 1 to n. So how many such strictly, like there is an array that you are supposed to build, and you are building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and suppose you are given till index n from 1, like how many such pairs can you forcefully make it inside n? What is the maximum? So what I'm trying to think of is what is the maximum possible value of m? Because if it is small, then maybe we can do some very easy, quick generation. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3. So x into x plus 1 is less than equal to n. So x is less than equal to almost half, right? N minus 1 by 2. Okay. For example, if I have, suppose I have this array, right? So anyways, these numbers, like the sums are not going to be inside this right now. Like we can make them 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, right? So these elements, let's say we cannot make it. This is the last point till which we want the numbers to kind of, this plus this is just hitting n. So no better possibilities can be generated. Mm. Less than j, less than k, and m. Okay. So suppose you are right now with this. If I put a 5 here and there is an n given, 1, 2, 3, 4 up till x you have put right now. And till now you have generated some count number of permutation pairs. This 5 will generate with how many is what you want to count. Okay. So if you get, so this number can, because you have placed up till x, this has to be greater than equal to x plus 1, number one restriction. And it can be as big as possible. We can make it like very big number also, and then it will not combine with any of the values. So we can always do that. What I want is, can I control, like what is the level of control I have in the values such that I can generate the possibilities here. Okay. So if I put it as x plus 1, then the same thing, x should be equal to n minus 1 by 2. If this is the case, then 5 will combine with everyone to give me one value. So in this case, you will get X new pairs. Okay. If I make it X plus 2, then it will, like, and suppose this threshold is hitting. In that case, it will not pair with the last one. And it can only pair with these. So I'll get some lesser numbers. Okay. Okay. So since this is possible, what I'll do is I'll greedily generate the sequence and try to think about. देखो, इतना सोचने के बाद, if I think this is taking too much time, to correctly formulate this, it will take me a little more time. So I would not spend more time on this. I'll come back to this in the actual context and I'll go to the next problem. Okay. I do not like such greedy problems where, like, there has to be a lot of cases run and properly written. Okay. There are like cases to be thought and all. So since it's getting some more, taking me some more time, you should not waste too much time on this, I feel. Okay. Maybe there is some easier problem available and like you just spend too much time on this and then you cannot. Okay. We'll later on come back to third and we'll look into it. Next, let's look at fourth. Somebody said it was a CF problem. What is the problem? You are given a team, perfect team is such that every rank from 1 to K, it contains exactly one player of that rank. For a given lineup of n players, the cost is defined as maximum number of non-overlapping. For a lineup of n players, the cost is defined as we'll come back to it, madam. I think it's some greedy. I'll come back to it and think about it. ठीक है. मतलब कुछ तो करके कर ही देंगे लास्ट में greedy greedy करके. But I do not like when you have to prove too much. And in an OA setup, when things are on stake, you cannot like just gamble on spending too much time on one problem and then realize कि अरे इसके बाद वाला problem easy था. So it's better to read the next problem. For a lineup of n problems, the cost is defined as the maximum number of non-overlapping teams that can be selected. Interesting. And you need to calculate the sum of all possible lineups of n. Okay. Nice problem. Okay. Contribution, yeah. I think we have to think of subarrays and contribution of those subarrays, but like how do I generate them? That also is interesting. I mean, k factorial ways are there, and if it is placed there, but there will be a lot of double counting. So contribution technique will fail, in my opinion. Let's see. देखो ये कंस्ट्रेंट देख के मेरे को दिमाग में आ रहा है कुछ तो डीपी होगा इसमें. ठीक है. दिस इज लाइक सिग्नेचर कंस्ट्रेंट्स ऑफ डीपी. Like on code forces this would have been 5,000, but on most of the sites people give 1,000 or 2,000 or 3 4,000. So this is like signature constraint of DP in general. So I'll not like give too much thought to my brain and first go into the realm of DP. My brain is now triggered and I'll think about ki ye DP hi hai. Let's now think about how would I form it as DP. And then I'll come back and think about some other technique like contribution technique or other ideas that I've taught. Okay. So if this is a DP problem, then what are we generating? We are basically generating a n-length sequence जहां पर like whenever you will get something you will add it. So first of all, if you have a sequence like this, even if there are overlaps, you will greedily choose it. Like how do you suppose, first think about this question. Given a sequence, how do you determine कि इसमें कितने maximum non overlapping है? I think greedily if I choose this and then from इसके बाद I'll greedily choose wherever I get. So there are two sequences and I'll choose. Even if there is overlap, I'll greedily choose the first one, right? I think that should give me all the solutions. Does that make sense to everyone? मतलब अगर दो sequence है, something like this which is overlapping, it's better to greedily choose the first interval ताकि next जो बन सकता है वो possible बन पाए. I mean, you all have solved this problem, right? Like maximum non-overlapping sub intervals problem. Like there are bunch of intervals and you have to think about interval scheduling type. तो जो सबसे पहले खत्म हो रहा है उसको चूज करो एंड उसको हटाओ, जो उससे ओवरलैपिंग है उनको डिलीट करो एंड देन सॉल्व अगेन, राइट? यस और नो? Okay. So similarly in this also, like whenever I'll get a permutation, I will select it immediately and then reset हो जाएगा वो. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. But ये करेंगे कैसे? Like how will you generate? So the idea is, I think we can, like when I am generating a sequence where each element has choices from 1 to m or 1 to k. Is the values between 1 to k or 1 to n? Can somebody tell me quickly? 1 to k. Okay. So each element is possible between 1 to k. I have to fill every position as 1 to k. So there is k to the power n total subsequences, sequences that are possible, right? Now out of them, I have to choose like where are we getting, are we hitting the permutation, and then in how many sequence they will be present. So what can I do is I can maintain how many unique values have I seen till now. DP of, if I'm suppose here, suppose I am dealing with like, I am right now filling this index and I've filled 1, 3, 2. And suppose k is equal to 5. Okay. So 3, 2, something like this, some sequence like is there, and I am filling this index. Okay. So now what my brain will say is, if this is 2 and this is 2, can I say that these are all non-useful for me because this 2 will always be in the sequence that I select from here onwards? Yes or no? But wherever will I see this duplicate back, that is no longer helpful for me. For example, if I see this 2 and see this 2, can this 2 be ever in the sequence if I am trying to take this element also in the sequence? No, right? So in some sense, I can maintain, for example, this 3 and this 3 is coinciding. This 2 is this 2 coinciding. So I can somehow select that how many unique values continuously are there, unique till now. Like 1, 3, 2 I have seen. Before that, whatever element is there, that is like one of the duplicates of what I have seen till now. Okay. If I have this information, now I can place some number here. For example, if I place 3, in that case, for next element, the number of uniques that I would have seen will be 2. If I place 1, then the number of uniques for the next element I would have seen is 3. If I would place 4, then the number of uniques I have seen right now is 4. And as soon as I hit the unique as equal to k, that means I am finding a sequence, right? So this can be a possible state for me, that how many uniques have I hit as of now. Which numbers are them? I don't know that. I don't know that. But how many uniques have I hit? So I will write it something like this. dp of I am at the ith index and I'm deciding what will be in the ith index. And how many unique values have I seen till now? Unique till now. That how many of the previous values are absolutely unique in its nature. Okay. Till the first duplicate. So what am I doing here? I am at the ith index. This is a good problem. I am at the ith index and I have seen A, B, C. I don't know what these values are. But this value is something that I've seen already. So only these 3 are unique. Okay. Now I have options from 1 to k. Suppose, let's say I have options as A, B, C, D, E. 5 options. Okay. Or let's say I'll just write it as 1, 2. Out of this sum of 1 to k, Some of these values will be in this unique set. For example, if I had seen 3, 2, 3, 1, and here if I can fill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out of this 1, 2, 3 will give me something else, and 4, 5s are new unique. So if I am at DP of, let's say this is index 3, and till now I have seen 3 unique values, and suppose I have 5 values, whatever these 3 unique values are, I don't need to know their order. Suppose 1 was here, I will go to DP of 4, I'll go to the next index next. But if I put a 1, I will only have 1 unique value. I'll go to DP of 4. If I put 2, I will get 3 unique values. If I go to 3, I'll go to DP of index 4, and I would have gotten 2 unique values. If I would have placed 4, I would get 4 comma 4, because now this 4 would be a new unique, so there will be 4 unique values. Even if I put 5, I'll go to DP of 4 comma 5. This is the transition that I'll get into. So what I realize is, out of the things that I have seen, one of them will get me the, whichever is the closest. If I place the same thing, I will get 1 unique. Whichever is the second closest, I will get the 2 unique, and so on. So all of them will generate 1, 2, 3, something like this. And whichever I have not seen, I will get these. Okay. So using this, we can design some transition for this DP. Using this, I can design some transition for this DP. I mean, something similar to this. If I remember correctly, in AdCoder's DP contest, towards the end, there's one question where you have to uh, do something similar, that even if you do not know the values, you can still design the transition. That was the idea. Similar to this problem. Okay. Okay. Now let's try to think about transition. This is much more doable problem than last problem, in my opinion. Whatever it is, like, it's still a DP transition, right? Jo bhi likhenge, I'm sure that it will work. Greedy, you can never be sure that whatever we do, it will work, right? So I would always prefer to solve a DP problem over a greedy problem any day. Okay. So we are at the ith index, and I have k values previously. So out of those k values, they are fixed k values. They are not random k values. Okay. They are fixed k values, because I have been putting them one by one, and I have been iterating them in the transitions. So I will not choose those k, right? That's one thing. Whichever is here, that will lead me to DP of I plus 1 comma 1. Whichever is here will lead me to DP of I plus 1 comma 2. And so on, DP of I plus 1 comma k. Like whichever is here, if I take that same element, it will give me k unique only. Rest out of these k, sorry, I should not call this k, this, let's call this x, right? There are x unique till now. Except this x, every k minus x value will lead me to, so there are k minus x values which will lead me to DP of I plus 1 comma x plus 1. K minus 1 such, k minus x such transitions, such different value, which will lead me to this. So the number of different sequences that I can possibly go into is this multiplied by k minus x times, and the summation of these. Okay. And I can already understand that this is going to be some sort of DP optimization, like prefix sums of previous layer. We can build something here, right? Something like that. Okay. Uh, Great. And like this will go on till you hit some DP of, like, if this is becoming equal to k, that means you are getting a full sequence, right? If you get to DP of I comma k, that I am at the ith index and the last few k values are unique, it is same as saying DP of I comma 0 you have matched, plus this sequence is going to be present in all possible future permutations. So k to the power n minus I. In all those future choices, whatever you take, whatever permutation I built here, that will be present in all of them. Something like this will be the transition for when you reach K. When you have hit all the different unique values, then whichever subarray you built, that subarray will be present. That one subarray will be counted in how many different subsequences? All the others that you can possibly build here. So that one will get this much contribution, plus you will reset back to 0 and you will try to build more sequences going forward. Okay. I think this should work. I'll have to think about it once more. Like if you reach K, I'll get that K. For example, let's try to think about it. Okay. Suppose the K value is 3. Okay. Suppose here you have 1, 2, and you are filling this. No, not n minus k. I'll think about it. Let's take a concrete case. No, that will make it the life easier. So if k is equal to 3, so you have 1, 2, 3 as an option. So right now I am at this is index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3. Okay. So I am at dp of index 2 and I have seen 2 unique values till now. If I fill 1, if I fill 2, if I fill 3, right? So if I fill 3, I'll get to dp of index 3 and I have seen 3 unique values. Okay. Now, as soon as I see 3 unique values, that is same as saying that this subarray, it's same as saying dp of 3 comma 0, that I am here, I have not seen any yet, and whatever I saw last, it will be present in all of these subarrays. So plus this one that we got here, that one will have k to the power whatever number of indexes are left. So n minus whichever index I am at. So I am at index 3. Total array size was 4. So 4 minus 3 in 3 like n equal to 4. I am at index 3. So this subarray that I built here will be present in 3 more subarrays, like this subarray, this 3 sequences. Correct? This will be the contribution of this particular subarray. I didn't get a point of this. Okay, let's understand. Acha, you have 1, 2, dash, dash. Okay. If I put 3 here, this will be present in how many different sequences? अगर यहां 3 भरा, तो this 1, 2, 3 will be counted in how many sequences? In all these sequences. How are you getting that? Whatever is the index left, how many indexes are left to be filled, उनका सारा possibilities. उन सब में k options है each index to the power n minus I indexes are left to be filled. And if you get this completely, now since you are taking non-overlapping, like now since you are taking non-overlapping unique sequences, that means you cannot merge this with those. You have to start a new thing. So right now you have 0 dp of I comma 0. Here onwards, you do not have anything in your unique sequence. So whatever you will take, you will get 1 unique now. So initially, how will you start? I will start here. I am at index 0 and I have 0 unique sequences till now. If you take 1, if you take 2, if you take 3, they will all reach to dp of index 1 and you have taken 1. So in all 3, you will add the same thing. Is this clear to everyone? कि जब start किए थे यहाँ पर, so in 0, 0, 3 options है. All of them will lead to this particular state. Suppose 2. Then you are coming here. This will get calculated as if you take the same value, like then in one of the cases, you will go to dp of 2 comma 1. In all other cases, you will go to dp of 2 comma 2, dp of 2 comma 2. Like if you put 2 here, then here you have only 1. But if you put 3, here you have 2 different sequences, right? In case of these two, just a side note, for this, you can pre-calculate the values of powers of k to make your computation faster. Coming back. Okay, don't use binpow. So here, once you are here, I am at index 2 and I am needing to fill one of the two. So if I fill one, if I fill two, if I fill three, if I fill one, I'll go to DP, like I'll go to DP of index 3, but I have 3 unique values seen till now. If I fill 2, then I'll go to DP. If I fill 2, then I'll go to DP of 3 with 2 unique values, because this cannot be used because this is already taken. Or I can go to DP of 3, 1, right? Now this DP of 3, 3, to evaluate this, it's like you are already getting this 3. अब इधर तुम जो भी बनाओगे ये सीक्वेंस तो सिलेक्ट होना ही है ना, as a quickest subarray that you are getting selected. So this subarray I will remove from the counting because I don't want to count it there. So I am gonna make it as if this is not present, because we have to take non-overlapping. So this cannot help us कि यहाँ 1 डाल दिया तो ये भी select हो जाएगा. No, because since this is not, we have to select non-overlapping, we are selecting them and discarding all these indexes. So we will go to DP of 3, 0, and since we selected this, we have to, this subarray still has possibilities of future indexes. So plus 3 options for that subarray, which is coming from this. कि भाई अभी अगर 1, 2, 3 बन गया है, but 2 और position खाली है. So there are 3 options here, 3 options here. K to the power 2 or K to the power n minus I. This is your I. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, total array size 5, 5 minus index 3, K to the power this. Not getting that DP of I, 0. Okay, this basically says कि मेरे को 3 यूनिक मिल गया. That 3 unique together will contribute this much to the answer, and it's like saying that I do not have any unique right now, because ये जो 3 मिला ये तो अपने में non overlapping select हो गया, right? And in how many subarrays will that get selected? This many. तो अब मेरे पास उनमें से कोई वैल्यू मैं यूज नहीं कर सकता इसके बाद यूनिक बनाने के लिए, right? Because the subarrays that you are selecting, that has to be permutations of 1 to k, have to be non overlapping. मतलब इधर अगर इधर 1, 2, 3 है तो 2, 1 ये और ये तुम दोनों सिलेक्ट नहीं कर सकते. इफ यू सिलेक्ट दिस, इट्स लाइक दीज एलिमेंट्स गॉट डिलीटेड. इसलिए जब हम इस इंडेक्स पे इसको सिलेक्ट कर ले रहे, so then we are done. One more part I have to see. Shouldn't it be DP of 3 plus k? No, the index is here, right? Index is moving here, so not plus k. 4, 0. No. So we are already moving forward. ये 2, 2 से हम लोग 3, 3 में गए ना. अब तुम, the way I write it is, if I am deciding index I keep the track of not including that index. तो इसको अभी decide नहीं किया है. Some people write it like this कि last index है, तो in that case you can go to I plus 1 वाला जो तुम बोल रहे हो. Like it's an implementation detail. The way I implement it is I keep track of what I have done and the index is 1 ahead of it. So that's why, Jesh, if you are saying that it should be 4, 0, I mean, that's the reason why it's not 4, 0, but 3, 0. Okay. So this is the way in which you can possibly add it. And one more thing that you will have to do is when you are calculating DP of I, x, yes, it's always greedy. Since all of them are of k length, it's greedily best to select the first one itself. If you are at DP of I, x, इधर एक सम आएगा DP of I, 1, DP of I, 2, I plus 1, 2, I plus 1. You have to sum these up till DP of I plus 1, x. And for k minus x options, you will get one more new unique value. In 3 hours, maybe 4 questions, I feel. 5 तो बहुत hard होगा, but 3 to 4 should be doable, in my opinion, for a good candidate. Like people who are getting into these companies like APT Portfolio, D Shaw and all, like some of them can at least compete me also nowadays. Like if I'm not at my form, so should be able to solve these questions, in my opinion. Great. So this is the idea. And this summation is like a prefix sum. Can you also code this, please? Okay. I think that in the interest of time, we possibly cannot do that. इतने हार्ड क्वेश्चन आते हुए मैं yes. So if you are calculating dp of I comma x, it is getting the sum is nothing but I plus 1 comma 1, I plus 1 comma 2, 3, 4 up till x, and this x plus 1 is used twice. So if you want to implement this, maybe like just loop in this order, and when you reach here, you need this this dp value multiplied by k minus x, and the sum of this can be found using a prefix sum. This tells what AI brings to us. Yeah, there was a time when humans could also do this. I'll tell you, there are people, uh, or I should call them monsters, I don't know. But people are able to solve this in contest also. There used to be a time. ठीक है? There are people who are 1900 plus on CF. I think 1900 plus people on CF has a good chance of solving this. This is not an easy problem. This is like CM plus problem for sure. Matlab, you need 1900 plus on CF for sure for this problem. It's not easy to see what I'm seeing right now. Yeah. What I'm seeing right now, this is like 1900 plus skill in my opinion. Like कि ये सब अरे greedily लेना पड़ेगा, उसका contribution आ जाएगा and so on. This is not easy. Can you get a batch recording? Yeah, the batch recordings are available ना, the live session वाला थे. Okay, this is there. Cool. Fifth problem. So in the interest of time, like A was from APT portfolio, B is from UiPath, C is Quantbox, D is D Shaw, E is Goldman Sachs. सारे अच्छे company. So A was probably the easiest. I think APT portfolios was easiest question. UiPath, this was also good problem only. This though is greedy, but yeah, I mean, I understand this can be a Quantbox problem. Like this kind, Quantbox is probably the hardest to crack in general. Okay, in some sense. This is D-Shaw ekdam. So code forces. So old code forces 1200, sorry, 2200, 2300 questions have been asked multiple times in OAs. I have seen this. है ना? कि जो 2000 plus वाले जो questions आते हैं ना, these are generally like old DP graph 2200, 2300 rated CF questions, like somewhere around CF 400, 500 rounds, all those rounds. So possibly you can like practice those. I mean, I don't think that makes sense at all, but then still, like one thing that you can practice is DP tag with math. If not math, you can still leave out. And in the range of 2000 to 2400 on code forces, which does not have other topics involved in it. These kind of DPs I've seen being the quote unquote selected problems for which are differentiators जो नहीं हो रहा है या लोग नहीं सक रहे कुछ से and stuff. So if you want to practice problems of those sort, I think those ideas have come. I remember one of the contests that happened where one of my friends Nitish, like ICPC teammate, he won a laptop and all. The last question of that contest was an idea which was in a code forces E itself, and like Helga and pick करके कुछ था. Like you have to basically find a grid is given ABCD and you have to find palindrome path from top to bottom, something like that. It was a div to E or something like that. So that same idea came in a contest. So what I've seen is people use these ideas. Also, does DP workshop cover? Yeah, DP workshop has some ideas, but no, this is not an easy question. So DP, मतलब ये सब के लिए थोड़ा और practice करना पड़ेगा. मतलब this is somebody sent on code for this is a 2300 rated question. So this is not an easy question for sure. Okay. This is being recorded. Yeah, I think this has become recorded. This is being recorded. If somebody wants to watch it later, probably I'll share it with the team will share it with GOC team and they can put it up if they want. Okay. Okay. This problem, this is a very good problem in my opinion. This I was reading. On the first thought, I thought कि ये क्या दिया हुआ है, but then I like, okay, ठीक है, possible है solve कर पाना. For 2 minutes, I was also like कि ये कैसे solve होगा, and then I was like, okay, possible तो है because constraints are fairly large. Okay, this one I read before the contest and like during the contest in the afternoon. So K pandas on grid, this. So this basically question says that you have bunch of updates happening to a structure and you have to find some answer. Okay. This is a very good 1700-ish rated STL related problem. Like data structure maintenance is a concept that you have to learn if you are able to, if you want to solve good problems of STL, right? There is an like lot of people study STL and they learn just the basics, but you often need to learn good ideas, right? So a cell can be attacked if XOR of the all pandas that can see the cell is non-zero. Okay. So XOR is non-zero. Like we can count the cells which are zero and then we can subtract that from total. So same as that. Now, suppose you are dealing with, there is a panda here, there is a panda here. Okay. Like just think about just two. So this is going to influence this row, this column, this row, this column, right? Everything else except these values are not even relevant, like because they would be 0, 0 only. They would not be seen by these. Now, if this is some positive, like whatever this power value is, it will influence its own row, its own column. This will influence its own row, its own column. So let's call this R1, C1, R2, C2. Okay. Now, the thing that we need to be able to understand is at these intersections, not just with these two, maybe there are more such pandas. At these intersections, is the XOR becoming zero or not? Number one. Number two, if there are multiple pandas in the same column, then in that column, in all the cells, the value would be the XOR of power 1 and power 3. Like that will be the value in that column. Okay. So what is happening? We can compress this information further, that there is a column array and there is a row array. If you place a panda here, he will toggle the XOR value of this row and he will toggle the column value of this column. Okay. If you place a panda at X comma Y, in the row at cell X, it will change the XOR value, and in column, it will change the Y value. Now in the grid, we need to find ये बैठाया तो बस ये change हो गया because it is affecting all the row and all the column. Once you have placed it in this grid, we need to find कहां पर XOR zero है. Which are the cells where the XOR is zero, and that is same as saying that how many pairs have the same value in the row array and the column array. क्योंकि इस सेल का वैल्यू XOR zero कब होगा? जब इसका रो वाला और इसका कॉलम वाला जो XOR होगा उसका वैल्यू zero होगा. If A XOR B is equal to 0, then can I say A is equal to B, yes or no? Correct. So if you are dealing with this, so you are basically maintaining a row array and a column array, and at all points in time, you have to be able to tell how many pairs are there from this array to this array which are same. Okay. And there can be updates कि at X comma Y a new panda comes of this power, or at X comma Y a panda leaves. उसको रिमूव करना इज सेम एज उसको वहां पर वापस से जोर कर देना, राइट? इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट, तो दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन द होल प्रॉब्लम, कि तुम्हें रो वैल्यूज मेंटेन करनी है जोर की, कॉलम वैल्यूज मेंटेन करनी है, एंड यू हैव टू फाइंड हाउ मेनी पेयर्स आर सेम सो दैट यू गेट द सेल्स वेयर द जोर इज जीरो. अंडरस्टूड? Where to find these kind of STL problems? One, like I think CSCS has some good problems, but not that good in my opinion. Implementation plus STL plus 1700, 1800 rated problems, if you search on CF, there are some good problems. Like, for example, Battleship, if I remember, there's this problem related to Battleship. Um, like where you have to maintain multiple data structures and aggregates of it together. These kind of practice problems, I don't think there is any like particular source where you get all these type of problems. What I call them is STL maintenance. Like there is a data structure, complicated data structure that you have to maintain values with, right? So basically, we are right now dealing with we have to design a struct. By the way, putting a panda and removing it is the same because only its power will kind of get zored. So struct whatever data structure we want, right? We basically want to maintain how many zero intersections are there, right? Count of that integer, some, I'll just call this as map that int in this row, what is the XOR value? XOR row map XOR column. Like for this column, what is the XOR right now? And I need another thing, which is inverted map. For example, I need map of how many times this particular column XOR frequency. Like how many times this particular XOR has appeared in the column side. Similarly, you can maintain in the row side also, right? This thing you can also maintain as a separate struct. Struct XOR row, right? XOR XOR array. Let's call this a XOR array. Right? It will maintain the XOR array and map of int int that XOR's frequency. Like how many times this XOR has appeared. So whenever integer like place we do integer x, integer unplace we do at integer x, the value y. Like basically you can maintain these stuff. Like if at the column, if at the row x you are placing the value y, and so the thing is what it will be doing is whatever is already at that position, right? If mp if XOR array dot find x is not equal to XOR array dot m, and then what you will be doing is you will be basically whatever that value is, that value is gonna change. So XOR frequency of whatever was already present at that row decrease. Then what you do is at that position, you XOR with the value that you place. And then whatever you just now placed, since it's going to be a different value, like you can increase it. Something like this you maintain. Similarly, for unplace, you will remove the frequency and all, right? And then when you have these two things, like suppose when you have this XOR arrays for your row and for column, what we can possibly do is that when you void place at integer x at integer y, if you are placing a power p, what is going to happen, right? What is going to happen? So whatever was the, I'm assuming right now that there is another function which is void unplace. Is it said that there will be it is guaranteed that at no point two pandas occupy the same cell. Nice, that's given, right? So we don't need to unplace. If you are placing a panda at x comma y with p, what we are basically dealing with is in this row, in this x comma y, for that row at x, this was the XOR. Okay, this was the row XOR. where we are gonna place column zor was equal to the column dot zor array of y, right? Now, whatever this zor was, with whichever columns this was giving us 0, those will be removed now because this value is gonna get changed, right? So from 0 int minus equals to whatever the in the column in the column data structure that we have built in the zor frequency, whatever times this was present, all those was combining and getting us a 0. So these many zeros will decrease. Similarly, you can say that the number of zero zor values will decrease from the rows where the column zor was going to get combined and give us a 0. So this will be the removal of the influence of the previous value at those rows. And then at those rows, we will update the new value. कि भाई इस zor row पे change हो रहा है ना. And then once you have placed, you will do all these steps in inverse. That because of this new placing, you will get the new row zor and the column zor. And whichever times they will combine, that will be the new addition. So something like this, you will place essentially a new panda, right? And you are maintaining these with multiple data structures. This is sort of how you can possibly implement this, right? To maintain the points where you are getting zeros or कुछ कुछ ऐसा implement करना पड़ेगा. Okay. That how many pairs were already making a zeros or then you place this new panda and then उसके वजह से फिर नए कितने zor बन गए, zero बन गए. Because of that, you just add that answer. कि उसके रो वाले कितने सारे जीरो बने, उसके कॉलम में कितने सारे जीरो बने. Got it? This kind of implementation you'll have to do for this problem. अरे अभी तो कुछ कोड लिखा ही नहीं है. The codes are available here, no? You can go ahead and do this. Yeah, so they have done custom. So unordered map is basically a way of having is basically this. Yeah, so there has to be another map which maintains I comma j's, like every cell's maps. Like there has to be another one which is for every pair, like a comma b. For that, what is basically the zor of that cell, and that there also you can maintain a frequency. So row column, and then for every particular cell you have to maintain another one. So if you see here, बाप रे बाप बहुत कुछ लिखा है तुम लोगों ने. ठीक है. Yeah, complicated implementation. Because I've built a graph for this, kya? Oh. So the every pair you do not need to maintain. You can start from scratch and maintain that value as you go forward. Matlab, it can be a derived data from this. Probably I'll implement and maybe share that eventually. Like it'll take me some time. It'll take me at least 20-30 minutes for sure to implement this all. Right? It is good implementation question. But yeah, so heavy light. Acha, you maintained which nodes are heavy and which nodes are light and accordingly iterated. ज़्यादा complex कर दिया, I think. I think we can do it something like this because double counting, like what is changing? Only one cell, row and column. So you have to change the influence in only those. Row में कितने हो रहे हैं, column में कितने हो रहे हैं, और zero कितने. So at every point you maintain how many zero cells are there. As you remove, तो इधर रो में क्या क्या चेंज हुआ, कॉलम में क्या क्या चेंज हुआ, इस सेल में क्या चेंज हुआ, रिमूव फ्रॉम डेटा स्ट्रक्चर। वेर यू ऐड, रो में कितने जीरो ऐड हुए, कॉलम में कितने जीरो ऐड हुए, इसमें जीरो। सो इफ यू मेंटेन द जीरो एट ऑल पॉइंट्स इन टाइम, आई थिंक यू डू नॉट नीड टू मच ऑफ हेवी लाइट डिकॉम्बिनेशन इन दिस प्रॉब्लम, आई एम वेरी श्योर। मतलब इस कैन बी डन विदाउट हेवी लाइट डिकॉम्बिनेशन इफ यू मेंटेन समथिंग लाइक दिस, इफ यू मेंटेन दिस वैल्यूएबल फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच। मतलब every update updates that value. Okay. I've seen similar problems being, where are these ideas covered? These are covered in STL in most cases. Like if you're on AZ, if you're practicing STL के questions में है ये सब hard concept. But mostly like, I've seen these kind of problems generally asked in at coder DE. Mostly you'll find it there in general. Okay, so you use heavy light idea, whichever rows are heavy or whichever columns are heavy, we can possibly iterate on the other side, something like that. And then heavy light. Okay, makes sense. Light pe iterate kar do, and then heavy pe you can possibly, there will be only very few heavy ones. Okay, possible. That's a good idea. No, basically that is square root decomposition. Like what I think the solution says square root decomposition. Is that so? Acha, हाँ. Okay. Yeah. This is possible, but overkill है. It's not required. I'm very sure about this. मतलब कुछ तो इसका दूसरा solution भी होगा. Because it's iterative changes. It's not queries that big of a query, so should be possible. देखते हैं. ठीक है. So, like you can, so see whatever I'm telling, it's like my thoughts and what how I am thinking. Like of course solutions and editorial codes are available. Please read through them and also understand it more, right? And try to solve these problems. The reason of this session was not to give you the solution or make an editorial video as such. The purpose was to, for someone who is attempting these hard problems, to get an idea ki how can possibly someone think about these problems, and like how at least I would approach these problems when I'm thinking from scratch. And how would someone maybe build this? A very similar problem to this came in this problem that you are seeing right now in the fifth one. This same problem came in Kickstart to 2021, 2020, Kickstart 2020, a robot movement. Not this. Okay, I'll search for it. Like this has appeared before. The same question has appeared before in Kickstart. I'm very sure about it. But it was more complicated. It was like something like this: that there is a robot and you will give it move north, south, east, west. But whenever it will visit another cell that it has already visited, so it will skip across it and it will move to the next cell. So the idea for that is basically you, for every row, every column, you have to maintain that which cells have happened and you have to skip through it automatically when you move in that direction. Because basically if you are here, if you do north, then if you go south you will reach here, then north again you will reach here, and so on. So this was the question in Kickstart. It has a very similar idea that you maintain for every row, every column a data structure, and coherently you have to maintain certain things. Very similar idea that I've seen before. I do not remember where it is now, but ठीक है जो भी है. फिर से ही होने क्या.
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Am I
It's my
audible? And
okay. Whew, I think I'll search for that problem if I can find it. This is a good problem. Yes, audible क्या? Yeah, old videos. ठीक है. Solve the problems now. Now you have a good enough idea about things. Okay. I think in the interest of time, we have a hard limit of 8:30. I have a meeting after that. But then if you have some queries for me, like whatever you want to ask, feel free to ask. I think for the next 10 minutes. CV review कर दो भैया. कैसे कैसे तुम लोग रिक्वेस्ट लेके आते हो ना. Good, in my opinion. प्योर डेव के प्रोजेक्ट्स थोड़े कम है. मतलब आई इफ आई वाज इन योर प्लेस आई वुड. मतलब एआई पावर्ड फाइनेंस बोर्ड बनाने से कुछ नहीं होता. दिस इज लाइक इंटर्न वाला वर्क इज गुड, इट्स फाइन, बट if I was in your place, I would have built on some proper agentic workflows के ऊपर कुछ तो मैं काम कर लेता, because it's just trendy. The thing is, if you are in trend ना, like you will always get more opportunities than if you are not in trend. मतलब trend surfing is a concept which is very common, and in my opinion, if you can, you should. बहुत सारी कंपनीज आएंगी, if they see a proper agentic AI वाला work, they can in their mind always map you to some project in their company, and you will have some biases around you around that. So that definitely helps. Okay. Skill section तो ठीक है. One more type of things that I generally recommend students to add is थोड़ा dev करके docker ये सब words में add कर दो, क्योंकि ये सब लोग देखते हैं कि पता है नहीं पता है and all. So थोड़े dev के words helps in getting shortlisted in today's time. बाकी तो it's good. The projects are good. It's fine. Nice. हाँ मतलब बहुत strong तो कुछ नहीं है. I'll agree. This is good. This is good. But वही है कि you'll have to build some good project. YouTube पे एक वीडियो बनाया था, आई थिंक उसमें जो बनाया वो सब चीज कर सकते हो. Thank you so much, Vivek, for the session. We usually provide only text editorials. Therefore, I was thinking your session today must have really helped everyone to actually think about this. I hope we are good. Yes, we hope to see you further contests. Absolutely, guys. Please participate in the GOC's contest. They have been creating really awesome contests, and these contests do take a good amount of effort. So please try the previous contests, and yeah, it was great having this session. Chalo, next when we'll see. Next contest when maybe you guys can drop in your social page, FB page, maybe where you post the thing, or maybe an Insta page. I don't know, like wherever you are putting in the updates. I think that should be helpful for participation. Yeah, every Sunday it's there, but link, where do they track? Where does the notification pops? Are these questions are placement test? No, most of them are internship tests as well as placement test mixed only. But internship tests, like if you basically there are certain groups and all where you can be part of. Like some there are always every season there are. If you're in ITs, there would be some or the other what do you call Discord group that would gets created, and you'd always get screenshots and all. So you can get ideas from them in most cases. Yeah, you guys can join. You guys can follow Instagram of Grimoire of Code, and updates will be there. Cool. Okay, chalo. And this video probably Umang is in contact, so he'll share with you guys. Okay. Oh, Dev recommended do it now for project like DevTask on AZ. DevTask on AZ is good, na? That is good project, I feel. Building that project should give you good idea if you build it till level 3 that I mentioned in the video. Okay. Chalo, this is a good place to stop for now, I think. Thanks everyone for joining in. I hope you all have learned something. What if I have not studied dev, mostly DSA? I mean, for circuital branch, that's fine. For non-circuital, I would still suggest कि you can add a basic project. मतलब बहुत basic भी नहीं, but some signaling project in your resume and then later study once you get a shortlist. I mean, some people do that, so कर सकते हो, and then quickly study whatever you can in that project. Yeah, these are there. Like if you come to IITs, there are a lot of HFTs which give 2300 rated questions in their OAs. So it's not uncommon. There's some world finals questions also come in OAs also. There has been cases. There was this, I remember there was this pyramid question, right? Some trapezoid पे कुछ तो movement का shortest path कुछ तो पूछा था किसी HFT ने. कुछ तो crazy crazy question पूछ देते हैं लोग. तो उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Will I have to learn HTML, CSS end to end? I mean, going through them helps, but I think focus on backend engineering most if you can. I mean, it's quicker. HTML, CSS, JS सब bytecode कर. Okay. Chalo. That will be all from my side. Thanks for joining in, everyone. We'll wrap it up over here. I hope you guys learned something new, something or the other today, and hope that you'll all give the contest as well in the coming weeks. Okay. Bye bye. If you are, and as a final note, if you, I shared a lot of resources today, but one resource that I would highly recommend everybody to watch is the DP workshop on YouTube. It will be very, very valuable if you complete that, and you'll be able to solve much more problems in DP, in my opinion. Okay. Chalo. That would be all. Bye bye. Thank you. We'll wrap up over here.